Today is a big day because we are starting to build the actual email application. And the goal is to make a list of messages. There will be like dummy messages. We will hard code them, so we'll just type those messages and try to display a list of messages. Okay, so first of all, let's remove the code we don't need. So I will start with the state class. It's not needed except the build method. So we will move this build method to the widget over here. We'll remove that part. The comment is not necessary as well. And we will change this to stateless widget, because we won't be dealing with any state at this point. Okay, so that's done. Let's remove those comments as well, because we don't really need them. So I will also rename the application. So email app here and here. Okay, we have some errors. So stateless widget. So we are passing this as an argument. So we need to define it. This title here. So this is a stateless widget. So this means that there is no state, but even though I can add variables, they are final. So once they are set, they will never change. And now I need to add a constructor to my home page. And it should be good. So the error disappeared. Okay, let's continue removing the parts we don't need. So here it's title. That looks good. Let's remove that whole part here because we don't need it. The floating battle is not needed as well. And the state. Right now, not needed. Okay, no errors, but there is some error in the app. So let me quickly see what's the problem. Unexpected type. Okay, so I just needed to restart the application because there was something. Sometimes the hot reload doesn't work as expected, but it's rare, and that was the problem. Okay, so we have the hello message displayed in the center, so that's good. And now let me change the color because maybe something more elegant or so. Let's try this one. Okay. So the idea is to display a list of elements. So in Flutter there is this widget called ListView. And it's a good idea to discover the framework by exploring the classes. So let's try, and I'm pressing command. I'm pushing command and clicking so I can go directly to this code. I have pretty nice documentation. A good thing about Flutter is that the core library is written in Flutter in Dart as well. So you can just, by exploring those, the source code, you can learn a lot about what parameters are needed, etc. So in our case, we will be using the builder. And as you can see from the docs, there is item builder, which is required here. So when I start writing, I think, yeah, so I can use the this feature from VS Code to suggest me what's needed to create. So item builder in the list view is as a method which builds each element in the list. So let's just start with building text. So as you can see, I have a lot of items now, but it's not very pretty. So there's another parameter called item count, and I can say that I only want to build each, like the element, 10 elements, and that's the result. But it doesn't look good because ListView prefers ListStyle instead of just text. And here we have title. And let's try this one. So here it's slightly better. So let's see what's possible with ListStyle. I'm pushing Command on macOS to go inside this code, and I see that ListStyle has many different parameters: leading, title, subtitle. So let's go ahead and try some of them. So subtitle. Okay, pretty cool. So let's change this to title, and so this syntax is, so here item builder receives a function which gets the index of each element. So we decided to have 10 elements, so it counts from 0 to 9, and the index parameter is the index of the current item being displayed, so I can access it like that. So we have title, subtitle. Let's make this text a little bit longer. So in email apps, we have title and few lines of text. So another text which is very, very long, so everyone can read it and see it. It doesn't look good, but I just noticed that ListStyle has this parameter called isFreeLine, and let's go ahead and make it true. So slightly better. What else is there? Leading. Okay, let's see what it does. Leading text. Okay, it displays something on the left. Leading, trailing. So I suppose it's similar, but it will display something at the end of the line. Yeah. So leading, we can change it to something called circle avatar. And I should add the comma. So we have something resembling the avatar. And here there's a child as a parameter. And let's see some docs. Yeah. So let's try replicating that. So child, text. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Let's see if we can do circle avatar for the trailing as well, just to test it. Yeah, funny, but it's possible. So right now we don't need trailing. Let's stick with just leading. As you can see, the texts are static. We just hard-coded them inside this method. But before we make it a little bit more dynamic, let's change this. So instead of using builder, let's use a flavor of ListView called separated, because I would like to have lines between each item in this list. So if I click again inside, I can see that there is a required now parameter, additional required parameter called separator builder. So let's go ahead and add it. So separator builder. And this should be context index similar to the previous example and let's do something like that. Yeah, pretty cool. So now I have lines. Few things here. And item builder has the same signature for the function, which is context and index. But here the parameters, the types are defined explicitly and here are not, because Dart can infer those types, so you don't have to specify them. Okay. So now let's try to make it slightly more dynamic, but still using a stateless widget. So let's define a list. My first message, my second message. You won lottery, why not? And you should read this message. So we have four elements in this list. And now inside our item builder, let's do something like that. So for our title, and I will access the messages list defined above, and let's pass it the index. And now instead of displaying title hard-coded, let's make it slightly more dynamic. There's some error because I have only 4 items in my list, but I'm trying to display 10. So here should be 4. But we can be even smarter than that, and we can say messages length. And then when we add a new item here, again, it will be automatically added without any errors. So that's pretty much it. The app looks good. And yeah, this is our list of messages, and in the next episode we will try to make it even more dynamic, and maybe we will add the functionality to click on each item to see the details. Stay tuned.